Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We're excited to welcome you to our IBM Developer Livestream. In a few minutes, I'm thrilled that we'll be joined by a close friend of ours, Chelsea Clinton, to announce the top 3 Call for Code COVID-19 focused solutions. For those of you from my Think that joined my Think conference session earlier today, you may already be familiar with Call for Code. But if you're just joining, I just want to give you a highlight of what the program is about. In 2018, IBM joined David Clark-Cause, the creator of Call for Code, as a founding partner. Our quest was simple, was to help solve some of the world's biggest issues through Call for Code by creating open source powered technology solutions at scale. To help, IBM opened up software built on Red Hat OpenShift, IBM Cloud, Watson, IBM Blockchain, and data from the Weather Company to the 24 million developers and data scientists in the world. Since we started our Call for Code journey, we've been humbled by the welcome. Over 300,000 developers and problem solvers have joined the call in over 160 nations that basically focused on building solutions that have an immediate and lasting impact on society. And I have to say, 2020, this year has been no different. We initially launched Call for Code in Geneva, and we focused it this year on climate change. But let's all face it, our world has drastically changed in a matter of months. So therefore, we expanded the Call for Code challenge to also include COVID-19 and put the call out to the developer community. I have to say, your response has been unbelievably inspiring. But we recognize that no one can solve the world's problems all alone. That's why in this program, we've joined forces with the Linux Foundation, the United Nations, IBM clients, partners, and global foundations worldwide. Notably, and most recently, we've teamed with Anthem, one of the largest health benefits companies in the United States, who has committed to jointly deploy one of our top solutions from this COVID challenge. And one of our closest partners, the Clinton Foundation, believes in technology and its potential for good. We're working specifically with the Clinton Global Initiative University, or CGIU, to empower youth to build more resilient communities. Therefore, the alignment of Call for Code and CGIU became a natural fit, and we're now together on university and college campuses worldwide. And there is perhaps no one more dedicated and passionate about this issue than Clinton Foundation Vice Chair Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea, so thrilled that you're here with us to tell everyone a little bit more about how CGIU and IBM are working together to bring Call to Code to life. But first, given where we are, how are you doing? How's the family doing? And how has life been impacted for you?
Well, Bob, just a tremendous amount of gratitude to you and everyone at IBM for our partnership with CGI University and for all that you're doing to help bring us together virtually in this moment. We are incredibly grateful for our safety and our health, and so grateful to all of the frontline healthcare workers and first responders in our family, and really here across New York and across the country and around the world. And so thankful to the developer community that you galvanized to help us find solutions to kind of honor the work of our first responders and our kind of frontline healthcare workers and help protect people and save lives along the way and move us forward. So we're just so thankful to be in partnership and to be in this conversation with you today.
Great, and you were the first really to lean in when we said we were going to focus the program on COVID-19. You sort of jumped right in and said, "I want to learn about these solutions and I want to embrace them." So I'd love you just to sort of talk a little bit about CGIU, what you guys are focused on, and sort of how Call for Code and how we came together fits around the program, and then we'll talk about the winning solutions.
So, Bob, as you know, CGI University is an ongoing, really kind of robust platform for college and university change makers to come together, kind of learn together, and also really learn from leaders in technology and civil society and in government to think about how to translate kind of what they want to do on their campuses into real action plans to help expand what they're already doing into something that is more sustainable, to help kind of build the change they want to see in their own communities and really around the world. And we're so grateful for the partnership that we've had kind of with IBM the last couple of years to help our students who want to do that kind of through app development and technology to have access to kind of think with you, imagine with you, and create with you. And while I wish we could have been together at kind of Edinburgh for our 12th CGIU, we're so thankful that we were able to do that virtually. And I wish we could be together now, but are thankful to kind of be in this space to talk about some of the exciting solutions.
No, and together we've had over 3,000 students already sort of come together around solutions from the joint programs that we run. So we're really inspiring, I think, a whole nother generation about how we can use technology to solve problems globally, especially in open source. But as we know, this is just the beginning. Submissions for 2020 Call for Code, including our special university edition, our partnership, will remain open through July. But given the crisis and the pandemic, we thought it was worthwhile to have a sort of an interim check on getting ideas out and then bringing them to life. So why don't you sort of announce the winning solutions
Great.
And what came out? So very exciting.
It is so exciting. And I just think, Bob, as we were talking about earlier, we really do need reasons for optimism right now. And these are just kind of three extraordinary reasons to be optimistic about kind of our resilience and what we can prove to be possible, while still kind of recognizing the deep and painful challenges that we're in. So solution one, which I'm really excited about, is the Are You Well app, which is created by a team from Altran in India. This is designed to be a comprehensive medical assistance system that can and will reduce the stress on kind of overtaxed medical workers. It's a mobile app that will help individuals evaluate their symptoms, and it's aided by IBM Watson Assistant. The solution will leverage a global dashboard that assigns cases a high, medium, or low level of risk based on thresholds designed, developed by healthcare providers. And then it will connect the people who are using the dashboard with medical professionals who can use the data to prioritize cases and offer care in a safer and more efficient and effective manner. And here's a video to help.
This is a solution, that helps end-to-end the entire society. Are you well is, asking you a question, are you well? And you will actually make sure that you are feeling safe and you are feeling well at your home.
As a patient, I should be able to evaluate myself and maybe record my symptoms and share with my medical assistant, or doctor can maybe have a look at my systems and maybe guide me to the best possible treatment, or maybe guide me through some advice.
And next, we have COVID impact. This solution was created by a global team that came together at the University of British Columbia with members from Canada, Bangladesh, Kazakhstan, and Mexico. The application aims to reduce the financial impact of COVID-19 on small businesses. It's a predictive assessment tool created with IBM Watson Tone Analyzer that forecasts businesses' financial risk levels. COVID Impact offers a curated list of federal resources for small businesses and a real-time newsfeed of sentiment analysis evaluated articles that are relevant to them. The solution also offers an economic impact heat map that visualizes where need is the greatest, which can help officials direct business aid to specific regions or industries as needed and as relevant. So please cue the video.
There are hospitals and doctors that are currently on high alert to actually treat COVID-infected patients, but there are not enough institutions out there to actually help these small businesses navigate through this downturn.
By COVID Impact, we're trying to help to immunize small businesses in Canada, North America, and hopefully across the world.
Within a weekend of putting all of your creativity, your mind, your research efforts into creating something, you can create a tool or a platform that can benefit the lives of millions of people. It's nothing short of magic.
So it's just all so remarkable. And Bob, are you ready to announce the third innovation?
Yes, yes. And I mean, all of these threes are just all over the map, right? I mean, we had a big developer team in the last winning opportunity, but the last and not least is something called SafeQ. And this was created by a single developer based in Los Angeles. And I think most of us can relate to this. It's a community driven mobile app that is intended to replace physical lines at shopping centers, small businesses, and polling places on an on-demand virtual line. So all of that distancing that we have to do, the app will use GPS location data to create a virtual queue for those within 1,000 feet of that location, which I think is amazing. So that allows the business owners to control the queue digitally and then validate entry with randomly generated QR codes for each of the customers out of the app. So the solution's built on IBM Cloud. It uses something called Here Technology APIs, which is geolocation, and then it has IBM Cloud for storage data. Basically, what the great story is, the developer grabbed a call for code starter kit and just ran from it. He spent 6 weeks. So why don't we just cue the video and then we'll meet the developer.
SafeQ is an easy-to-use system addressing the fact that businesses have to now limit how many people go in their stores and limit how many people are in polling places. And instead of standing in the line that they made for you outside with little X's on the ground, you stayed in your car with basically a mobile app that allowed you to be in line without actually physically being in line, and then be notified by someone at the store when it was your turn to come in. Technology should be able to help with this. We should be able to do better than say, just get in line and put as many red X's on the ground 6 feet apart as we can spend time doing.
Okay, so as I promised you, that developer that created SafeQ is Dave Chura. Now, Dave, thank you so much for joining us and answering the call, and for your incredibly relatable, very helpful solution.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Bob. I really appreciate and call for.
And congratulations, Dave. I mean, I think Bob and I certainly will be using this, and probably many of those who are joining us today. And so I just think, could you start with telling us what motivated you to join the call, and kind of what's the story of how you first thought, oh, I really have to be a part of?
Well, to be honest, it's all a problem, right? We've all seen the long lines at stores and polling places. And probably like everyone else, I said, there's got to be a better way to handle social distancing than just to create these long lines everywhere. And everyone's usually on their mobile phones while they're in lines. And I thought to this, and I thought somebody should do that. And that's pretty much where it sat until I was watching the news with my wife Marie, and a story came on about Call for Code, and they ran the Lady Gaga video and David Clark and etc. And after I saw that, I really found the urgency for the call to be really persuasive, and it would change my mind from somebody should do this to I should do this. I mean, I knew I've been a developer for a long time, and I've developed cloud apps, or cloud services and apps. So I pretty much thought I'd do this. And then the final closing nail was I asked my wife Marie. I said, "Is this really a good idea?" And she said, "Yeah." And then she started saying, there are a lot of people that wait in lines, elderly people. There are families with kids who want to wait in these lines, and think about the people who work there. So all that together, I really, like I said, I think the call part really was motivating for me, and so I just got right down and started doing it.
It's great. So thank you to your wife Marie and Lady Gaga, and thank you for kind of translating the someone should into I should. And I bet, Dave, there are a lot of people kind of joining us today who are thinking, I want to do something too. Like, what advice would you have to, especially the students who are joining us today, of how can they think about taking that first step to building the solutions they want to see?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give the advice I pretty much have gotten all my life, which from people who have mentored me, which is, you need to think about use your imagination to see what outcome you can produce. What is the good that you can do with what you know in technology, and then work backward from how can I make an outcome come true to how can I find the technology that makes that outcome come true. And the one thing, even for me in this case, was I didn't know all of the technologies that I eventually used to build this. But when I look backwards from what I thought was needed to make this happen, I had to go learn them. I had to go find them. And I say my advice: don't worry about that. Go out and do things that you haven't before. You a whole wide variety of quote in your toolkit that you're going to apply to this problem and the next problem and that on. So my advice is really is to get a breadth of knowledge of what it takes to make your vision, what you imagine, to come true. And you can do it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to collaborate. There's a tremendous amount of resources on technology, IBM, develop IBM, as well as places that can help to make you really pretty powerful as even one person.
And Dave, I think this happened so quickly. I mean, Bob spoke earlier. I mean, this was, less than 6 weeks, I think. And clearly you just mentioned like some of the tools that you use. Could you talk a little bit more about some of the IBM tools and kind of what really helped this be possible so quickly?
Yeah, absolutely, Chelsea. I use this phrase in my submission that we have an immediate problem and we need an immediate solution. And so from that, it meant that I had to rely on having a lot of technology, a lot of help from places to make it quickly, because making it quickly was critical, at least in my thinking, and I think in the code, to have an impact. And so with that, I think Bob mentioned it. The first thing I did is I went to one of the starter kits. I think they're well put together, and I generally have a lot of experience, so I pretty much knew what technology types I would need. But the starter kits really helped me, they helped guide me through IBM's technologies and what I could do there. And really, that was the real accelerant that got it going. I was on the air very quickly, and then it really just came down to now, getting over the sort of technology barrier, and then working with trying to make my app and my vision come true. And I honestly spent most time on this app time on trying to work with the tools, because they work very, very well. I had a whole lot of different technologies, like I used Cloudant. I went to a document database, certainly IBM Cloud, and the Foundry apps, here technologies. And I used React Native, which is a way to develop mobile apps. Yeah, I mean, there's an endless amount of tools out there, and for all developers out there, you just dig in and you will not be disappointed.
Well, I think it's easy to say you have not disappointed us. I mean, quite the opposite, Dave. I mean, we're so good, and I just want to thank you for sharing your story, and really kind of hand the conversation back to Bob. But just as someone who is a future user of your app, thank you so much. For
Dave, really,
to Lady Gaga and your wife.
Yeah, really inspiring, Dave, and thank you for your commitment. I think you're living proof that if you have an idea, you can make it come true. And I really, really appreciate everything you do. And one of the unique things, Dave, is we're committed to get the app hard coded and get it in the open source world so it can scale. So you have our commitment to do that, just for the other winners also. So thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Bob. Although, now it's really great, but the real celebration is going to come when we see this out there and people using it.
Agreed. All right. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Bye.
Chelsea, one of the things that you and I have talked about multiple times is what really makes this program very different is that although Dave had the idea, it doesn't end there. It's about making these ideas into reality, them to fruition, and actually having impacts on lives. I know that you're passionate about that. Can you sort of talk about perspective of that and what you've learned in your life about the importance of that?
Oh my goodness. I think, it is so important, Bob, that especially for kind of people who have platforms like you, kind of with IBM, that you are able to help Dave and the other kind of two teams that we spoke about earlier, close what I've always thought of as the imagination gap, really to just make it easy for people to kind of see a challenge, kind of then imagine the solution, but then kind of push that solution out of their imagination and into reality. And I just think, now more than ever, at least in my lifetime, we need as many people as possible kind of finding each other, kind of through spaces, that kind of we can help create and foster, generate, support, amplify, because that is how we're going to find these solutions that we desperately need. And I think especially for our university, students, who are living in an unprecedented time as they're trying to think about kind of school and work and their families and their futures, there are also so many solutions that are kind of probably, not even ones they're aware of, but that they are feeling and learning and discovering and developing. And we need to continue to reach out, I think, especially to students and young people, to help them bring their solutions to life for themselves and their friends, but really ultimately for all of us.
Yeah, no, and you have our commitment. I mean, I think this partnership is fantastic because, I mean, those ideas just need to be unleashed. And IBM is going to stand behind you, and CGIU, as these ideas pop up, will be there to help mature them, to get them hard-coded and then get them out into the open source world. That is our commitment to you and the rest of the community that's listening. So we really appreciate our partnership, your partnership, Chelsea.
Well, it is deeply shared. We are so grateful to be here with you.
Great. So I want to leave all of you with three final thoughts. The first is, are you well? COVID-19 Impact and SafeQ, they're awesome, and it's just the beginning. We will continue to accept submissions. So everyone who's listening to this, we are for both the university program and for the general program through July, and we will announce a winner in October, hopefully in person at that point. But to university students, please join CGIU and get involved with the program. If you've already submitted the work, if you submitted something, you can refine that work again and resubmit. And second, as we begin to reemerge from this global pandemic and define our new normal, know that it's time for developers and data scientists to shine as true social activists. You, as Chelsea had said, you guys have the power at your fingertips. And as Lady Gaga said, you're the true rock stars in the world, and we need you. And then most importantly, please stay safe and healthy. And thanks for joining us here today. And again, Chelsea, thanks for your partnership.
Thank you, Bob. And really, I just want to say thank you to everyone at IBM who's made this possible. Randy, Scott, everyone. I want to just thank Dave and all the developers again who were highlighted today, and those that we didn't have the chance to highlight, but are so thankful for all that you're doing to help literally save lives today and save lives in the future. And we are just especially thankful to the young people who are not giving into cynicism and are kind of creating optimism, and we're humbled and proud to be part of that. So just a massive thank you to everyone joining us today, and kind of everyone who will join us in the future, and I hope everyone stays healthy and stays safe.